Welcome to Often Pacing on Tab Radio Racing and Sport. Tim Walker will be joined by Matt Young and Oliver Cownie as they delve into the form for today's Pinjarra harness meeting, as well as an early look at tomorrow's meeting at Gloucester Park. We are Often Pacing.
He's a sport waiting for Wave Rider to drop off, and back behind them Prince of Pleasure. Mighty Ronaldo has gone through in the centre. Around the turn they run. 28-1 the next quarter. On the inside, Catch a Wave. Minstrel the outside, but here is Mister Smartee now. He's out Hall Junior and he's rocking home. He's a sport out wider in the straight. Minstrel with Mister Smartee storming up on the outside. Then he's a sport, but Mister Smartee, he's got the Nullarbor and the Fremantle Cup double. He races away. And Mister Smartee in a brilliant win beat Minstrel and he's a sport. And they raced away from Catch a Wave. Back behind...
Yeah, that there is the closing stages of the 2025 Retrovision Fremantle Cup. It was taken out by Mister Smartee. He does the double that Catch a Wave did 12 months earlier, taking out the Nullarbor and the Fremantle Cup a week later. A rich week for the Gary Hall Senior stable, and obviously Gary Hall Junior, a terrific drive there as well. That's going to be high on the agenda this morning as we get into a look back at Friday night at Gloucester Park and a look ahead towards the next couple of days here in the West with Pinjarra today and then into Gloucester Park again tomorrow night. Coming up this year, half hour, we've got Chris Lewis not too far away from joining us, but we're going to start it off with our experts to dive into Friday night and the Retrovision Fremantle Cup in particular. Matt Young's back on again. Hello to you, Matt.
And everyone tuned in.
Ollie, a very good morning to you.
Hey, Tim. Hey, Matt. Yeah, great race on Friday. Really looking forward to dissecting it.
All right, well, let's start off. Matt, I think you put it correct on the 7+ coverage. It was a welcome to WA from Gary Hall Jr. to Luke McCarthy, wasn't it, on the turn for home?
Yeah, that was... It just shows you've got a world-class reinsman outside of Junior. And he wasn't able to hold him in. So that was the big thing. It was not about Junior being able to get off. It was whoever was on his outside, the ability of being able to hold him in. And he was just not stopping until he got into the clear. But he did everything legally, fairly, and it was a great drive. And you could just see, watching either the drone footage or the side-on footage, you could just see Junior trying to position himself up enough to be able to get wheel on wheel to be able to push into the clear and make sure that it was safer when a Wave Rider was out wide on the track. And then once it was apparent that was about to happen, he didn't ask questions. He didn't ask for permission. He just went. And that's the difference between winning and losing for Mister Smartee. And as I said on the 7+ app on Friday, it wasn't anything to do with the horse's ability. We saw that the week before. He proved how good he is. It came down to... This was all on Junior on Friday night, and Junior shone as bright as we know that he can be.
He was terrific, Mister Smartee, and the drone footage was absolutely outstanding as well that you were able to analyse with Lockie Taylor on the 7+ coverage at the end of it all. Ollie, just your take on the winner firstly before we have a look at some of the beaten brigade.
Yeah, it was an incredible drive, as Matt mentioned. Not many that can say they've outdriven Luke McCarthy in a big feature race, and certainly Gary Hall Jr. can say that. On Friday, he was brilliant again. He was brilliant last week. The Hall of Fame pair, they've come out on top again, and really it's fantastic to see not only both the Nullarbor come back to WA, but the Fremantle Cup now after Catch a Wave won that too last year. So it's fantastic having these races so close together, and the build-up into both of these races has been fantastic. And, yeah, very, very well-deserved win there, Mister Smartee. He was the best horse in the end, and I'm really looking forward to what he can do in the next few years. He's very young, so I think there'll be plenty of feature race wins ahead of him.
So the same trifecta of the Nullarbor and the Fremantle Cup, just the positions of Minstrel and he's a sport flip. So, Matt, we'll start with you. The beaten brigade there, headlined by Minstrel, of course, the reigning WA Pacing Cup champion. He was so brave again, and he certainly is deserving of another feature race win, whether it's the Pacing Cup later on this year, whether there's perhaps some East Coast assignments, but he just continues to try his heart out, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought Minstrel was very good in defeat. I thought he's a sport to caught that hip and shoulder like he did and then still finished the race off and was only beaten 4 metres, just shows that this horse is heading in the right direction. And I think with more racing in free-for-all grade, we're going to see a better version of Gee He's a Sport. Catch a Wave weakened on the way home. Mighty Ronaldo just didn't really get a huge amount of luck in that last circuit, but finished sort of back in the field. And then you have a look. I thought Otis actually hit the line really well, and I sort of make a case for this horse a lot lately, but he is in unbelievable form, Otis. So that was fantastic to see. But, yeah, we just saw probably the cream rise to the top in the Fremantle Cup, as we did the Nullarbor as well. But, nothing to my eye really caught from back in the field apart from Otis.
What about you, Ollie?
Yeah, it was similar thoughts to Matt there. Really, Gee He's a Sport was absolutely terrific there. And had Junior not got the run, there's every chance that Gee He's a Sport might have won that race. I thought Catch a Wave maybe a little bit disappointing, but over the long journey, probably not his go out in front, but certainly had to try their luck there and give him his chance. And in the end, he wasn't good enough. So maybe in the future, over the longer journey, they'll take a sit there. But I thought Wonderful to Fly was really good from back in the field. She was held up there and she hit the line really nicely late. And obviously she can go back to racing the mares. So a few things to take out of that race. And, yeah, I think there's a really big future for Gee He's a Sport along with Mister Smartee there.
All right, let's have a look at the balance of Friday night's program, Jensen. Get some horses to follow. So, Ollie, we'll start with you, and you're going to the top of the program to find one to follow.
Yeah, I was really impressed by the winner in this race, Blazing Reactor, but it's not the horse I'm going to go with here. It's a Major Freeway. Generally a horse that does his best work when he's able to get up on speed there, and he wasn't able to do that from the wide gate on Friday. He got a long way back and he really flushed the line. He hit the line hard and he actually ran past Cold Hard Cash. He's a pretty fast horse in his own right, and they got home 27-7. So it was a bit of a dash on the way home, and I thought he was really good there, maybe against what his general pattern is. In race 3, which was the consolation of the Fremantle Cup, really nice touch, naming the horse the race, the Vale Greg Sugars Fremantle Cup. Fantastic to honour, a champion of the sport there. Out of that race, I thought that Paul Edward was really good in behind them. He didn't have the clearest passage and he was looking for runs late, and he was really good. And it's probably a stronger race as he's taken on recently. They went pretty solid time throughout, and he was still looking for runs late. So really impressed by his run there. And then in race 6, I think Matt's going to agree with me on this one. I thought Jackie Daniels was terrific there. She was super her last start at Pinjarra. They ran really fast time there, and Star Casino's a nice horse, and she wasn't beaten far by him. So I think she's run another really good race there on Friday. She's hit the line hard after probably not beginning as well as she can, and I think there's certainly a race for her soon.
Matt, it's been a good week for Jackie Daniels.
Yeah, she's really come on nicely. That was an even better run than the Pinjarra effort. So, look, I think she's going to be really, really hard to beat going forward, and I think she's getting better equipped at the standing starts as well. But we got to watch the drone footage, and she really didn't get out until too late. So there's 2 horses from that race that I wanted to highlight on. That was one, Jackie Daniels, and Sky Lou was the other. He was so far out of the picture for most of the way, and then he finished in 3rd place. Like, his performance was unbelievable. A lot of people will understand, obviously, Sky Lou's a good horse, but to do that off 50 metres to then lose more ground and then catch the field, it wasn't like they just dawdled around. I thought his run was absolutely outstanding. So Sky Lou's probably going to be well found in a market going forward, as long as he hasn't taken any harm from that run. But as we know, Gary Hall senior runners do go into the races pretty fit. So he might have been ready to rock and roll. And the other one that I'm throwing in for my horses to follow is Last Hard Copy. I thought was really good in the Caduceus, coming from back in the field. Closing sectionals were good, and loved his first up run. His second up run sort of backs up how good he is going, and I think there's going to be plenty of wins in store for him as a 3-year-old.
All right, so there's some horses to follow out of Friday night. Last hard copy, Jackie Daniels, Skyloo for Matt Young, Major Freeway, Paul Edward and Jackie Daniels for Ollie as well. So let's turn our attention to today, and you're both starting off in race number 5. So, Ollie, we'll go to you first and foremost for your best at Pinjarra today.
I really did think this race looked a good one for a horse that obviously doesn't win often and Fill the Jug. 1 from 45, but that one win did come when able to lead a while ago now. So I do think this looks a race that Fill the Jug can find itself on the front end here, and if she's able to get there the way she's been racing, I think she'll prove really hard to beat. She was working really hard last start. They went 28 first quarter over the mile there, and she battled on really well to just be beaten by Sundancer Rainbow, who's in terrific form at the moment. So certainly no knock being beaten by that horse. The stablemate, Caradona, I think will probably be happy to take a sit. So, yeah, I think she'll get every chance in this race, and hopefully she can record her second career win there. Onto the 7th race, I thought there was another one that could find the front here and prove really hard to beat in Seagrass. As Matt mentioned on the preview earlier, the double claim here sees her really well in. She gets down to an NR 55, which, yeah, she's very, very well graded in this race. I think she can work to the front. Era probably happy to hand over in the early stages, and if she's on the front in this race, it's really hard to see anything beating her with all the main dangers drawing to her disadvantage. So I think she can lead and she can win that race. And then in race 8, another one, we'll hopefully go three from 3 with horses that'll lead and win. I thought Raja Rocks found a really suitable race. He has been in pretty good form this time in without having won recently. He's been in the placings thereabouts, and he looks to have found a race where he's drawn to advantage over most of his key rivals here. And I think if he's able to lead, he should prove really, really hard to beat in this race. Last time he led, it was probably a bit of a stronger race. Great Boulder won, and Blame It on the Night was second there, and they're pretty classy horses. So I think this looks a bit easier.
All right, so it is race 5, number 4, Fill the Jug, race 7, number 5, Seagrass, which was Matt's best on the Sports Daily earlier on, and race 8, number 5, Raja Rocks. Matt, I note that you've got the exact same races on your talking points. Are you the exact same selections as Ollie?
Yeah, well, Fill the Jug's definitely on top in race 5, so yeah, agree with that one. I think she can work her way to the top, and I like the way that she had to burn off the arm last start, and it was only over the mile, but she still had to burn off the arm, and she still finished the race off really well, which I think is a good sign of where she's at, and she's ready to win again. So Fill the Jug for me, and I think her only win, I was very confident that she would win that day at Bunbury. Mitch Miller drove her, so I'm hoping that confidence that I have about her today can result in a victory, so hoping for the team. Race 7, Seagrass, very confident on Seagrass. I thought she would run to the lead and she'd be incredibly hard to beat there. And in race number 8, I'm going outside of Raja Rocks just because I thought there could be a little bit of speed on in the event underneath. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. So I thought you could play Smoky Shadow on an each way basis. He's probably too short now, $4.80. That seems a little bit short in the market. So Allwood Mac would have been the other one I would have played as well. So those were the two predominantly I thought could beat Raja Rocks. It'd be interesting to see if Raja Rocks does find a cheap lead. He's going to be very hard to beat, but we'll go race 8, number 6 and 7 each way. And then race 7, number 5, Seagrass to win, and race 5, number 4, Fill the Jug to win.
All right, that is for Matt today at Pinjarra. Let's turn our attention to Gloucester Park, and I see as well, gents, that you've got the same races on your agenda here. So, Matt, race 1 and 6 are your two, and Ollie will get his thoughts on these two races after you've had a go.
Yeah, I just liked race 1 in terms of the Matt Scott stable. I thought Wade, we know, is not very quick out. Sonic Sealster is, so I think Sonic Sealster will lead. Sonic Sealster was a good run last start for sitting in the breeze. It was only a lightning lap, but I thought the effort was full of merit. So I thought you could play both of those horses. Sonic Sealster potentially leads Wade. just needs a touch of luck. That's how his whole career's gone, but he'll go really well. He's racing in great form without any luck. So race 1, play 1 and 2, and in race number 6 on the program, I thought G. Smith. Sorry, Hayden. Hayden's got 11 of the 12 horses in the race, but I like the way G. Smith hit the line last start. He's probably more well-crafted at the standing starts. He was only narrowly beaten in the Northern Cup. I think this is a really good race for him. So race 6, number 2, G. Smith, and race 1, play the Matt Scott team, 1 and 2.
All right. Ollie, over to you with your thoughts on those 2 races.
Yeah, had exactly the same thoughts as Matt there. I was pretty confident that Sonic Sealster would find the front in that race, and I thought the way he went 2 starts ago, beaten by Rockin' the Trend, who's in this race again, I thought he'd probably get an easier lead here, and he'd be really, really hard to beat. Rockin' the Trend is certainly a danger there, inside back row, but it's just a question mark as to whether he gets out or not. If he gets out, he's a big danger, but hopefully we can keep him locked up there, and Sonic Sealster can lead and win. And then in race 6, exactly the same thoughts as Matt. I thought G. Smith was a terrific chance in this race. He loves the stand starts, and he can really fly away in the early stages. So I thought he could lead. He likes to bowl along a little bit. He can do that, and hopefully he can just be too good. There is a horse actually I quite like as a horse in this race, Del Boca Vista Bay. So he could be worth something at a price if off the 10-metre handicap first up. I've always had a bit of time for him. He's a nice little sit sprinter. So, but I do think G. Smith looks the one to beat.
All right, for Ollie there in race 6 as well as Sonic Sealster in race number 1. All right, gents, good work today. Ollie, hopefully there's a few winners over the next couple of days for you, and we look forward to catching up with you again next week.
Thanks, Tim. Looking forward to it. And
Matt, Racing WA Harness X page will be the place to be for all of the pre-race interviews today.
Cheers, mate.
All the best. There is Matt Young and Ollie Cownie. And don't forget, Matt Young will be back on the Sports Daily tomorrow morning from 8:45. Quick break. Chris Lewis, he's next.
You are listening to Often Pacing on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
It is great to have your company this Monday morning, approaching 25 minutes past 9 o'clock. We've got a few more minutes of Often Pacing before we get stuck into race day, and I'm looking forward to the next few minutes as well because Chris Lewis is our next special guest on the program this morning off the back of a really nice performance from Little Darling on Friday night to round out Retrovision Fremantle Cup night. Chris, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, listeners.
Great to have you on the program and great to be talking about a mare that's racing so very well at the moment. Obviously, an Emperor Stakes winner start prior to Friday night and then just adding another string to the bow on Friday night just gone. What did you make of the performance of Little Darling?
Yeah, like I said, she has got versatility and she had to use it Friday night because she breezed. And she did a great job. Yeah, she's just gone forward, and Barry's been maintaining her in great form.
She certainly has. You talked about having the breeze, and that's how it did look on paper. Obviously, with the Oaks winner having the draw advantage on you. I asked you post-race, just adding these strings to the bow, Chris, and she's becoming one of the more consistent mares here in the West at the moment. And what's a pretty good batch of mares, it must be said, that we do have.
Yeah, I think we've got a really good bunch of mares, but and she's just one of those, one of the better ones. And if she gets her opportunity, she's always going to be thereabouts.
When were you confident that you had Stewie's mare covered?
Look, I suppose I'd say. Around halfway out the back, I thought we were going pretty well, and I thought we could, be able to push past.
Obviously, the back end of last campaign, Chris, she ended in tremendous form. She was able to take out a free-for-all and was thereabouts in the Mayor's Classic as well, and the key lead-up races to the Mayor's Classic. You mentioned about Barry just maintaining her in this form, and she's come back. It looks every bit as better this time in. She is 6. How much longer do you feel like she can keep going in this vein of form?
Well, it's probably hard to say. I mean, there doesn't seem to be any real dip in her form. So I would think, the way Barry's kind of run her, he's run her a few weeks straight and then, a week off or whatever, and he seems to have a pretty well on target each time.
All right, and we know there's some nice mares races still to come. Just on the rest of Friday night, so Ollie just made Major Freeway a follow earlier on, was able to get a win in the middle part of March, so about 6 weeks ago, but do you feel like he's knocking back on the door and ready to win again, Major Freeway?
Yeah, look, he's going good, very consistent type of horse, and he's just got to wait his turn a little bit to get the right draw or the right run or the right way a race is run. But he's been finishing on very well every start, really. And he's come off 8 on Friday night and finished 5th in quite a good field. And they ran good times. So he's made good ground. I was pretty happy with him. So, he's maintaining his form well and he'll bob up every so often. Yeah,
once that draw comes, it certainly feels like in the right race he can strike Major Freeway. We spoke about the Retrovision Fremantle Cup. Chris, you're no stranger to these Fremantle Cup successes. What did you make of Friday night watching on and the performance of Mister Smartee?
Oh, no, he's going great. And I think Gary is going even better.
Yeah.
He drove a perfect race and got off at the right time. Everything kind of worked out nicely. When Minstrel put the pressure on the leader, and that just gave him the opportunity to come off and ease the sport wider, which was a very good run too. I mean, the first 3 were really great runs, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Just on that with Junior, so from barrier number 10, he had that decision to make straight away of whether he would sit there and wait for the luck and wait for the run to come. Is that how you would have approached it, knowing that you had a Nullarbor win under the belt the week before?
Well, look, it was always going to be a gamble, but, I mean, Mr. Smartee, he hasn't had a lot of starts, and your racing gets probably as good horses in the country as there is, really. Like Minstrel, when you look at how he did in New South Wales, he's right up there with them. So you kind of can't really do too much in a race or do extra and think you're going to beat them.
All right. Chris Lewis is our special guest here this morning on Off and Pacing. We'll turn our attention to today, if we can, Chris, and you've got a couple of nice drives to work through here. The first of them, Be a Lawyer, is in the lightning lap once again as a horse that's knocking on the door. Is today the day for Be a Lawyer, or is it just going to be a case of maybe place claims at best?
Well, I think he likes running the place, that horse. He's just, I don't know whether he's destined to win another one, but he will eventually. And like today could be his day or it could be next week. But, he's running consistently. Dave's got him going nicely. And, you can pretty well say he's going to do his best, and he's definitely an each-way chance.
Okay, what about Chambray from the back row draw? Would top 4 or top 5 be a pass mark here?
I think so, yes. Yep. Chambray's going okay. Probably just needs that better draw.
Luke Attack's another one that's working up towards hopefully a win in the not-too-distant future. Barrier number 1 today, you've got the draw advantage. How do you look to play it?
I would just come out. Yep. Like he ran pretty good last start, I thought, all things considered, and suitable for this type of race. We just got to play it by ear and see what happens. We'll come out and see what unfolds.
All right, and would you be hoping off what we saw last time in with Sugar Delight racing really well in some of the fillies races, coming back as a mare, this is the right starting point for her today in race number 9?
Yeah, she is first up, but I would think she'll be given a pretty good sight in this sort of race. It looks suitable for her.
Yeah, is it one that you just work forward at the start, taking on board, though, what you said about her being first up?
Well, yeah, I would just be considering what the horses correctly inside come out like as to what we do. But we won't have anything hard and fast, but, it's a possibility she could lead.
Okay, and you've got a couple of drives tomorrow night, but we'll just touch on the one in the Diamond Classic. So we've got the 3-year-old Diamond Classic heats tomorrow night, and head office has drawn barrier number 1. Will it be all just about trying to qualify there from the good draw?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
I think, at least we have got a decent draw to work with, and that should keep us in, in the running, I think, to get a qualifying position.
Fantastic. Chris, appreciate your time this morning. We look forward to catching up with you again very soon. All the very best today and also going forward as well with the mare Little Darling that was terrific on Friday night.
Thanks very much. Much appreciated.
Chris Lewis with us on the program. Great to be able to spend a couple of moments with him to round out Often Pacing for another week. So busy day today, 10 races down there at Pinjarra. All of the action here on Tab Radio Racing and Sport from 11:57, the first of 10. And then, as mentioned, the Diamond Classic heats tomorrow night for the 3-year-old fillies. 2 of them, races 2 and 3 on the program. So make sure you stay tuned to Tab Radio as well as the Racing WA Harness X page for full previews of them. Now, we've got racing today coming our way from Ipswich and Gunnedah. So on the other side of the break, we'll pick up the preview of Ipswich with Brodie Nixon. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for listening in this morning to Often Pacing. We'll be back to do it again next Monday morning. And don't forget, tomorrow morning, the Sports Daily back on air from 5:30.